peculiar-looking gentleman.
Scene 1, take 1.
Welcome to E-News. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Victoria. In today's story, a new crime wave is sweeping the country in the form of woolen graffiti. Scientists have invented an invisibility cloak. We helped them find it. And the latest in weather around the country. But first, a story that will turn your world upside down.
If you think your world is getting more topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have built an upside-down house, and before you think they may have read the plans upside down, they did it on purpose. The wacky abode was built as a tourism attraction, as well as being a comment on the state of the world. The house is 23 feet tall and rests on its roof, and has steel beams in the attic. Inside the house, there are beds screwed into the ceiling, upside-down wardrobes, an upside-down kitchen, and even an upturned bathroom. Though it's not known if anyone has tried to have a go in the bath or go to the toilet. Normally, a house like this would take 3 weeks to build. This one took over 4 months because the workers kept getting confused by the strange angles of the walls. Many tourists visiting the house complain of feeling sick and dizzy after just a few minutes inside. We cross over now to our reporter Maddie, who's inside the house. How are you feeling, Maddie?
Thanks, Nicole. Here I am with the owner of this fabulous upside-down house, Bethany Boo, and I'm feeling great. So, tell me, how did you come up with the idea of building an upside-down house?
Well, it was actually my husband's idea, and we did it because we wanted to be different and have a change. We thought about the idea for a little while and then thought it would be great, so we started building one.
Yes. So what comment do you think that your upside-down house has in the state of the world?
I think everybody should have an upside-down house, so we can go back to normal living and still be different.
Yes, I totally agree with you. So what are some really important challenges of living in your house? Because I know there are a couple.
Well, one of them is eating off the table, that's hard, and walking on the floor. We normally have to walk on the roof. And also going to bed. I always get bumps and bruises from that. But one of the most hardest difficulties is going to the bathroom. That is probably the hardest one.
That idea has probably put me off getting a house like that. So, is there any shout-outs you'd like to make?
Well, I've got one to my husband, Jackie. We have to do that grocery shopping tonight.
Now that you come to it, I think I have to too. Thanks, and back to you, Victoria, in the studio.
Thanks, Maddie. Even watching that makes me feel like vomiting. And now for a story that is truly out of sight. Look out, Harry Potter, the world of science is catching up to the world of magic. Scientists in Europe have created a 3D invisibility cloak, which can hide objects by bending light waves. It has been found that light can be controlled using special tiny crystals that make objects disappear. So far, scientists have made small objects such as coins disappear, but hope that it won't be long before they are hiding cars, planes, and even people. People have always dreamed of making themselves invisible. One top scientist says, the possibilities are endless and we are very excited. However, since inventing the invisibility cloak, the scientists have been having trouble finding it. As soon as we put it down somewhere, it just disappears, the inventor of the cloak said. It appears they are having trouble finding other things too, like their lunch, which they think may be underneath the cloak. What will this invention actually be used for? Hoping to see through the reasons behind the invisibility cloak. Here is our spot reporter Sam Campbell with more on the story.
Hi, I'm Sam Campbell and I'm here with Professor Maddie? Where is she?
No!
Oh! Professor Maddie, this is one of the scientists working with the Invisible Cloak project. So tell me, Professor, what gave you the idea to invent this device?
Well, a group of me and a group of scientists went to go and see a movie you might notice. It's called Harry Potter.
This is my Harry Potter scarf. Do you like it?
Very much so.
So we knew that the invisibility cloak was just tricks of the camera. So we thought if we created a real one, people would have lots of fun with it.
I see. You've just demonstrated me it works very well. So, what are your hopes and dreams and plans for this device?
Well, you could use it to help a lot of people, but right now I would really like to be able to hide under it, sneak around and scare all of the other scientists at my work.
Okay. So tell me, Professor Maddie, would this be a device you would keep to yourself, or would you sell it to the general public?
Well, I might sell it to people a bit later on, but right now I would like to keep it because I'm very excited and it's very fun. I want to play with it a bit more.
Alright then. This is Sam Campbell signing on to you. Back to you, Nicole, in the studio.
Thanks, Sam. And now, how's this for an interesting yarn? A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country, thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wool-waving criminals are covering trees, branches and lampposts with small jerseys and scarves under the cover of darkness. Police say the knitted activities of the gang are illegal because their woolly crimes are being done on public property without permission. The popularity of woolen graffiti is growing and more public objects are being wrapped up every night. But the problem is growing. Police say and warn that if the Midnight Knitters aren't caught soon, every tree, lamppost and traffic light in the country will be warmly dressed against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control. They're a close-knit group of die-in-the-wool criminals. We are stitching together a case, but it is not seamless. There's no real pattern to the crimes. A police spokesman said today, so far the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull the wool over the eyes of both the public and the police. We go now to a secret location with our investigative reporter Maya, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Hi, I'm Maya, and thank you, Nicole. Hi, I'm Maya. Joining me is the top secret location of the Midnight Knitters. This is Tom, and this is Luke. Thank you for your time. What brings you to the dark underworld of knitting, graffiti knitting?
Well, knitting is not evil. It's a way to express our joy and our feelings, and we just want to share it with the whole world.
Do you take yourself as criminals?
No, not at all. No.
Why not?
Because knitting is a joy and an art, and hanging it everywhere isn't quite bad.
Apart from trees and light poles and traffic lights, what else would you like to graffiti with your woolens?
Definitely trains. I've always wanted to knit and put it on trains so our art moves. It would be wonderful, yes.
And the big M of the McDonald's. I've always wanted to see that covered in black wool.
Do you think knitting's for grandmas?
Never. It's like a colour. Pink is for girls, but it's not like a colour. It's for everyone.
Thank you for your time, Tom and Luke. Now we are going to Susanna for the weather forecast up to date.
Thank you, Maya, and good evening, New Zealand. Let's have a look at tomorrow's weather. Starting in the far north, in Kaitaia, look out for some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat. Moving down to Auckland, there'll be a bit of a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions, but those are the conditions and you'll just have to accept them. There will be no weather at all for the Bay of Plenty. It's taking a short holiday, but is expected to be back for the weekend. In Napier and Hastings, the weather will sometimes be changeable and sometimes not. We really have no idea what will happen there. In the Taranaki, a mild depression brings with it a very dull day with no highlights at all. It'll be overcast and gloomy all morning. But things should cheer up by the evening, so don't worry, everything will be fine. Wellington will have another capital day, and the conditions will be so pleasant they'll actually be extreme. In the top of the South Island, Kaikoura can expect to have a good day, meeting friends for lunch, going for a swim, and reading the newspapers. But try to stay indoors as the weather will be just terrible. A real mix for Christchurch, which will have some unreasonable rainfall, some sensible wind, moderate thunderstorms, and some very angry snow. And in the lower south, Dunedin will be frosty, cold, and unfriendly until late morning, when the sun will pop over for a visit. Everybody likes the sun. That's all from me. Remember, if it's raining outside, that's the weather for you. Good night, New Zealand. Now, the news desk with Nicole and Victoria.
Thanks, Susanna. Well, that's all we have time for. We hope you've enjoyed this evening's broadcast.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again next time. And
until then, I'm Nicole.
And I'm Victoria for E News.
Goodbye.
E no hora.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Roll the camera. Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are featuring an interview with a very peculiar-looking gentleman.
Scene 1, take 1. Scene 1, take 2. Take 2.